Hey, I'd like to say thank you. I'd like to say thank you to Team Artelino and Realty Connect USA for being a sponsor for today's segment. Yeah, Michael has been listing and selling homes for 30 years, and I'd like to give a shout out to Michael Artelino. Thanks so much. Hey everybody! Welcome to another segment of Art Ventures at Home. I'm Mrs. Grass, and I want to remind you where you would usually see me and learn with me, and that's at the studio at Gallery North. Yeah, we're a studio and gallery space in the heart of Setauket, the historic district. And when we reopen, we hope that you can come join us for some of these classes in person as part of our Art Ventures programs for kids. Today on the docket for our lesson is a watercolor painting inspired by one of my favorite artists, Wayne Thiebaud. Let's get started. All right, first things first. What do you know about Wayne Thiebaud? Have you ever heard of him before? Have you ever seen his artwork in a museum? Have you ever created anything inspired by him? Oh my gosh, he's so incredible. He's still living, and he's an American painter known mostly for his paintings of everyday objects or, commonplace objects, things we see every day in our lives. So things like pies or hot dogs or lipstick or hairbrushes, ties, ice cream cones, and what we're going to be working on today, cupcakes and pastries. One of the most incredible things about Wayne Thiebaud's paintings of those pastries and those cakes is that he applied the cake so thick that it really looks like the painting is covered in real icing. It's so attractive. His coloring is amazing, and his shadows are bold and beautiful. And we're going to concentrate on creating a cupcake today inspired by him. There's also really one other interesting fact about Wayne Thiebaud is that in 1994, he received the National Medal of the Arts. Yeah, that's an award given to an exceptional artist from the US government. Yeah, something to daydream about one day when you become a really popular and talented and famous artist. Well, let's get some practice in then. Let me show you what you need in order to make your cupcake today. All right, so to make today's painting, we're doing something like this guy right here. You're going to need watercolor paints, water and a brush, of course, oil pastels, and if you don't have those, some crayons. And then, of course, paper. I chose a piece of paper that's actually a watercolor paper, so it's nice and sturdy and thick. When I paint my watercolors on it, it won't warp too much. But as long as you have paper that's thick enough for watercolor, you should be fine today. Once you have everything you need, it's time to get to work. All right, so we're making a cupcake today, and I'm going to show you how to draw out this cupcake and add a little shadow to it. And I drew it all out with oil pastels first so that when I went over it with watercolor, they don't mix. If you remember our watercolor and oil pastel lesson, we learned that oil and water, they don't like each other very much. The same effect will happen if you use crayons. So if you don't have any oil pastels today, you could just use a black crayon, like a regular Crayola crayon or any crayons you have at home, because they're waxy, and wax and water doesn't want to mix either. So here's how I got started with this cupcake. First, I drew out my cupcake tin, like the paper that the cupcake bakes in. And I did that by drawing two lines sort of on an angle from one another. Just like that, okay? I'm starting in oil pastel so you guys can see my nice dark lines from where you're at. If I were you, I would start in pencil and then outline in my oil pastel or crayon. Once I had my two angular lines or angled lines, I put a little curvy line like a smile connecting them. And then to connect the top of the two lines, I made a zigzag line. Reminds me of our lines that wiggle, lines that bend lesson. Okay, and then everywhere there's a point down and a point up on my zigzag line, I'm going to draw lines that go from top to bottom, connecting the top to the bottom. And then I'm going to have fun designing my icing, what is popping up above my cupcake tin. And I'm going to make it nice and full of icing. So I'm going to make a couple squiggly lines. And before I get to the top, I'm going to draw in my cherry. And I did that by making an almost complete circle. And then I added the stem and finished the circle. I can put a couple of lines in here to make my icing look like it's swirly. Just like that. Oh, it's making me so hungry. I'm also going to add a line on either side of my cupcake as a tabletop. And then I'm going to make a big curvy line connecting one side of the cupcake to the other. And that's going to become my shadow. It's one of the things that is so iconic in Wayne Thiebaud's paintings, or the light sources that he created in his paintings, how there's deep, deep shadows helping us to really see the objects he was painting as very realistic. So I'm adding that shadow so I have a cupcake that looks more like Wayne's. Then I'm going to take just maybe another crayon color or oil pastel color or two. And I'm just going to add some sprinkles on my cupcake. I'm going to make red sprinkles, just a couple of lines here and there. And I'm going to add some shapes in the background, just to make my background a little bit more festive and fun. All right, I'm ready to paint my cupcake. I'm going to do a couple of things to make my cupcake look a little bit more realistic. Since I'm putting a shadow in, okay, I'm gonna make my cupcake tin, which usually is sort of zigzagged, look like it has spots that are in the light and in the shadow. So every other one of my stripes that go across, I'm going to make light, dark, light, dark. So I chose blue for this one, and you can see every other one is a light blue, dark blue, light blue, dark blue. And then, of course, whatever color I choose for my table, I have to make the shadow that same color, but a lot darker, so it looks like there's a shadow. So I'm going to make sure that I add a nice dark color here as well. And then I'm going to have fun painting whatever other colors I want all over my cupcake. I hope you guys had a good time learning a little bit about Wayne Thiebaud and his work and creating a cupcake inspired by some of his paintings. I know I did. I love creating little pastry paintings and sharing them with people, especially for special occasions. What a great gift, right? A little personal painting of a cupcake that you can keep forever. So, if you're creating anything inspired by any of our art ventures at home, lessons and segments, don't forget to share. Tag us at Gallery North LI, hashtag Art Ventures at Home, or you can put what you're creating in this thread. I love seeing the things that you make. It was great to see how many people made bookmarks last week, adults and children alike. I'm so proud of you guys for making some origami bookmarks. If you're watching from YouTube, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the more fun we can have with y'all on YouTube. And then you can keep up to date with all of our free content because we're sharing a lot lately. And if you're feeling really good about giving and you'd like to give back to Gallery North, why don't you give back to yourself and become a member? Yeah, we just launched a really great membership program that you could take advantage of no matter where you are in the US or anywhere, and you can get discounts on our online shop and our virtual classes, and when we reopen you can come see us and take some classes in person, face-to-face in the studio, and visit our gallery and our gallery shop and the amazing campus we have. And lastly, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Stay well, be well, and don't forget, when you create, you feel real great. Bye.